Hey folks, welcome back. It's the early modern era as the Mughals still, just picking up where we left off last time, getting close to the end of the era, so we'll be thinking about who we're picking for the industrial era. And in the last episode, we spent some time taking out some of the weaker civilizations that were still left in the game. So you can see here that purple is eliminated, they got knocked out in the last round. Pink here was eliminated quite a ways ago. And then there's also black, which is technically still in the game, but I did take the last of their cities in the last episode. They're technically vassalized right now, but they should be dropping off pretty soon. So the question now is dealing with the remaining cultures. And the two that are closest to me are the orange player and the sort of light green player. And they have been ahead of me on tech for a little bit. So you can see that orange has these buccaneers as well as the arquebuses, and I'm still sitting on longbows. My plan at the moment is here we have musketeers. So we'll be able to unlock those, start upgrading some of our units, and then we'll be pretty cost competitive with the opposing units that they offer up. So I plan to kind of sweep in, take Tenochtitlan, and then reposition my forces over this way. So what I need to do in order to support some of those things is get some infrastructure online that I need. We'll finish Hotel first, so Hotel gives +1 combat strength per veterancy, per veterancy level, which will increase my combat effectiveness. Then I want to get some things that will make producing units a little bit more effective as well. I will be likely building some additional units for this conflict. I'm going to hold off on upgrading any units, so we're just going to end the turn. And, of course, I'm going to get attacked here by these random people. Just deal with this combat quick. Okay. Excuse me. So just going to drop that outpost there, and then we're going to start positioning units to attack down into the city. So all these longbows getting upgraded into musketeers, much higher combat strength on these units. Obviously, this is practically 2 eras ahead. So we're going to just go through this process here. Halberdiers are the same for now, but this army that we were running away from before is suddenly not as scary. We're going to attack from this direction because, as you can see above, that kind of gives us high ground up here to deploy on. They're going to retreat anyway, but had they taken that combat, it would have been a much better combat for us. Alright, so we were going to come pillage the city right here. We don't need the city. Bad city. Like, they're... actually, let me reassess that, because I actually don't have any infrastructure that I need to build here. So I could actually use this city. It does have some quarters already. Its industry is not very good. How does this only have... very bad industry. Wow, that's wild. I've never seen, like, literally 0 industry before. On second thought, maybe I just keep this as is, and I can attach right there. Can't build some things due to stability. Ah, there we go. Okay, the infrastructure list just wasn't updating, so we're actually going to pillage that. That was a little odd. Okay, next up, we're going to go for siege cannons, and our emblematic unit is here, the Gajnal, but really we're doing this to get access to mortars, which are going to become very important as the game goes on. And over here, we will focus maybe on just getting a holy site. We'll put it in this area, maybe. Maybe like right there. I think that works fine. Mycenae is going to want some additional stability as I look to attach some other territories around there. And then Assur. Not really interested in food. I did get Machu Picchu this game, so that's supporting a lot of my food needs. So thinking maybe Inventor's Workshop, and maybe Cabinet of Curiosities, Printing House will be good. And also good to get another, just keep building Maker's Quarters. Like, you just build Maker's Quarters all game, really. And then I also would like to get press freedoms, so the reduced cost of canceling and enacting civics. It'll make me a bit more efficient later in the game. Okay, so getting attacked here. I don't have any units I can bring in to reinforce. I'm going to retreat there because I haven't upgraded these units yet. I don't actually want to take that combat, so we're going to upgrade some units like this, and that should be sufficient to deal with any future attacks there. And those units are fully upgraded already. Over here, we'll go ahead and place down a new outpost. Alright, I could also consider attaching another territory on Hattusa, but it doesn't seem strictly necessary at the moment. Just in case I wanted to get like another Jama Masjid would be the main consideration there. I'm going to refuse a non-aggression pact here. I'm also going to... Yeah, I'm going to hold off a turn before I make all those demands. So they have Prideful, so they will refuse every demand that I make, so I can't slowly accumulate demands over time. So when I demand them all at once, I'll be able to declare war with those demands. And demands decrease the cost, effectively, of pressing those demands compared to not having a demand. So I will effectively be reducing the amount of influence that I need. Oh wow, I can one-shot those Buccaneers. But I will effectively be able to reduce the influence that I need in order to... what's the word I'm looking for? In order to claim some of the territories that they have, as well as some of their cities, depending on exactly what claims I have available. I'm actually doing quite well in terms of combat here. Pretty high combat strength on these units. Yeah, let's take a look at what else I have going on. I haven't declared war yet. I'm just battling these guys kind of out in the field right now since they're in my territory. Let's see. No, that looks pretty good. I'm going to move some guys like down here. See if I can see anything that's relevant. Ah, I see. There's a unit down there. Let's take them out. Don't know where those last Buccaneers are, but I will win this combat. They're there. Alright, great. So that takes out pretty dangerous army there. Thankfully, I have pretty high combat strength on my units now, so that is helping me quite a bit. Alright, so I think next turn is when I'll go for a war declaration. And then Mikane, still working on that. I'm thinking I'm going to attach this territory now. Let's see what the stability impact is. That's not so bad. That is a lot more manageable than I thought it was going to be. Let's start getting some of this infrastructure in here. And yeah, that looks all right for now. Let's go on experts. Really focusing on money in the city. Don't really need anyone on food, thanks to Machu Picchu. And then I'm actually thinking, yeah, we don't want to battle these guys in the ocean. The Buccaneers will have an advantage on me, so there's not really anything we'll be able to do about Nassau for the time being. Alright, so we're going to make all these demands. They're going to withdraw them, so we're going to declare war. So we'll start with all those demands there. Unfortunately, I'm now getting zona controlled by the Black Army there, which is a little annoying. I was hoping to attack right away, but not much I can do. We'll get the +10 war supports. Gladiators, not that useful. It's just the levy units, whatever you have available at the point in time your war starts. Okay, there's a little bit of leverage we can pick up, so let's make sure we continue to do that. And these units, I just need to bring them back in this direction. Okay. Any other good leverage spots? Could maybe go after that one there. I think Yeah, so the Pyramid of Giza is in Ninua. That would definitely be worth trying to grab at some point in the future. I'm also thinking that the green player has claimed Taj Mahal, and it might be worth kind of just leaving them alone so that they build it, and then I can take it over later. A lot of stuff down here I can grab with the Envoy. I'm actually going to make another one. I'll just buy that out. Okay, non-aggression pact with Swahili. No, I mean, that's not really worth it for me. And tax. Next is going to be mercantilism. Manufactories will be nice for the number of workers that I have in my cities. Yeah, so this is what I was worried about with the orange player, is them just showing up with armies and starting to pillage some of the territories that I have down here. So that's why I have these armies positions down in this area. Then we're going to go after this city right here. Unless I get zona controlled by the black player again with their like one single army in the entire game. How am I doing on Diplo Stars? I need another 55. That's maybe doable. I've realized my microphone is a little bit far away, so I apologize if there's a volume adjustment here. I'm not sure if the Diplo Stars are actually feasible or not. Let's get this guy over here. We can start picking up some of those. Then, in the meantime, what's that look like? That's not my favorite place to attack from. So we're going to position ourselves like here because we want to be on these cliffs if and when we attack. I'm going to move these guys right here because you still zone of control around cliffs. So these guys will only be able to move one tile on the next turn. So we'll attack Tenochtitlan here. And we just want to place muskets such that they can all shoot on the first turn where possible. Some of them might not be able to due to like line of sight or something. But this should be... Actually, I should have shot there. This should be a fairly straightforward combat unless they have a ton of units I'm not expecting. I guess they have these sloops. Okay, we'll need to fall back with some of these units. These sloops are relatively powerful, and we did lose a halberdier there. I guess I wasn't really expecting these units to come in. So what I'm going to do is move these guys into the flag, because I actually just don't really want to deal with these units if I can avoid it. We will take shots where it's feasible. But otherwise, we're just going to kind of move units out of line of sight. Okay. Some more leverage. Let's keep going on that. And any other leverage I can pick up in that area? Doesn't look like it. Guess we can head over there. Okay, Memphis has no construction queue. Canada Curiosities wouldn't be bad. I wouldn't mind a little bit more influence from the theater, actually. I know influence isn't, like, super high priority, but I need, like, every little bit I can squeeze in order to get influence stars, because they're just so challenging to get in this game sometimes. Nice, I can actually one-shot that sloop somehow. I don't have quite enough range on those guys. I think these guys should be safe. I don't think they'll be doing enough damage. These guys are behind fortifications and pretty high combat strength. So I'm pretty sure all these guys are safe here. There we go. So siege at Tenochtitlan successful. So their war support will decline a decent bit from that, but I'll need to take the fight to them a little bit more. In the meantime, let's actually upgrade some of the units that I have sitting over on this side of the world. Need to wait another turn before I can upgrade the rest of them, but the plan will be to move them towards Axum there. See, where is the... No, I have an envoy coming that way already. Okay, all good. Let's see. For exhibit, go for learning. I don't know where this leads, so let's go for the learning. Can also claim a wonder. St. Basil's would be interesting with Machu Picchu in Byblos, but that just seems like overkill to me, so I don't think I want to spend the influence on that. Don't need artistic expression. Fundamental values, I could grab the reduced garrison industry costs, which I'm going to do because I am sort of committed to doing garrisons at this point. I think that is an attack worth making. I have pretty decent terrain here. Okay, so they'll retreat. Curious where they are retreating to exactly. Pretty far away. I'm going to maintain my position up there, and we're going to start bringing some units around. Science osmosis. Okay, 15 science, gotta say, not worth very much at this point in the game. No reason to purchase a harbor there because they're just going to pillage it. Got that leverage. How am I doing? Need another 10. Need another 10k gold, one more tech, another 3k influence roughly. So I think give this a couple more turns and I'll have had a pretty good early modern here. It'd be really nice if I could secure that 10 more leverage. That's only 5. That's really unfortunate. Have any grievances I can forgive? Yep, I have that one. So that will count next turn. So I'll at least have 1 diplomat star, which I have to say is more than I usually get because I'm not particularly diplomatic when I play Humankind. Oh, it actually updated there. That's nice. I must have picked up another leverage somewhere. I'm going to put this guy on auto explore. And actually... yeah, so I had a scout here, and there is a island down in that area that I have not explored. Let's start moving these guys towards Axum here. And we'll do some unit upgrades. Great. And... okay, can make that attack. How do they have vision to do the demilitarized zone there? That's a mystery to me. I'm going to put all my gun units on the front, and we're going to target their gun units first for obvious reasons. So there. Alright, so no reinforcements for them. And up in Hattusa. Bank might be interesting. Extra influence could be helpful. How much do I get from Commons Quarters? Not that much. At 1200 industry already, so I think I'm just going to keep going on science here. Keep that scaling. And then Byblos, I'm okay. Thebes... I don't think there's anything super important for me to queue up at the moment. I suppose I could maybe attach another territory. I feel like kind of 4 territories roughly is my target for cities this game. I'm thinking about it. Okay, there's my scientist Aerostar, there's my Esthete Aerostar. Need one more turn on the Merchant Star. I'm so close, and that's 300 fame, so I think that is worth holding on to for a sec. So we'll pick up Naval Artillery in the meantime. Going to refuse that white piece. And we will keep sending units this way. Got a couple units up right here. How many territories do I have here? I think I have 4, 3. 1, no, I have 4. I could attach another territory, which would let me get another Jama Masjid. Could even attach this one here, which would give me Mount Vesuvius, which gives some extra influence for territory under the religion's influence. I guess I already get that passively, but this would add a lot more quarters as well pretty quickly. Let's do it. Yeah, so big stability hit, kind of like I expected. But I do think that is probably worth the cost there for some like instant boost to both research as well as my money that I'm getting. So, Hattusa really coming together, honestly. Could also get a Jama Masjid down here, which I think is probably worth it. Let's actually start focusing on that. Asur, grab the leverage here, leverage up there, and let's start heading towards Axum. Now really rushing these guys down. Okay. So Knights not going to be particularly useful. We'll kind of use them to get some adjacency. Not a fan of starting on the river, but I should have enough combat strength to kind of make up for that deficit. Okay, so we'll need to go up there. Can I hit anyone? Okay. So Buccaneers are a priority target. Actually, I'm going to back those Knights up because they're vulnerable to getting hits by the Buccaneers, and that could do a pretty decent bit of damage. How many do they have? They just have this one damaged one, so I'm not too worried about these draftees. They do have a habit of like running in and like sacrificing themselves on one unit, which can be a little dangerous sometimes. But it is not too bad this time around. Can I shoot these guys? I can. Send the rounds. Don't need to worry too much about this combat at this point. Not that I needed to worry at the start, but I wasn't sure if they were going to have any other reinforcements. So Axum are pretty easy to take. Iolkos is really the holy grail here as far as me taking the orange players' territories. Let's head up that way. Okay. Just gonna put that guy in auto, I think. And then Corral. Got an army that's kind of positioning itself here, so I want to move an army up to deal with that. I'm going to make that command as well. I will be eventually declaring war on the blue player. So what city is this? Corral. Okay. Manufactory is worth it. And then maybe the bank and the commodity markets. We have had a lot of focus on market quarters in here, so I think maybe continuing that focus does make some sense. A little bit more industry would be nice. Let's go on. We're on export policy. Food should kind of be at the bottom for everyone because Machu Picchu is just so effective at the moment at providing food to all my cities. Okay. I'm going to maintain an army down here just in case they send more land units in my direction, but the rest of these guys are going to start making their way eastward. Axum, they're good to just camp. And then I've reached my kind of era targets, so I will be picking a culture to take at the end of this turn here. Just get my units positioned. I may be able to like blitz the end of the game here if I go for some rapid fire wars. I could try to vassalize orange that might make some sense. Let's see. I will grab Sailing and Mounted Warfare, I guess. Those are freebies. And let's talk about cultures quickly. Okay, interesting. So, what is it? The green player has taken the British, which I mean, they have a vassal that doesn't really exist anymore. So, odd choice on their part. So let's talk about some of the options here. Argentinians, probably not it. Solidaro is interesting because the reduced army upkeep and the... Actually, salted beef can be quite good, really. I don't have that much army upkeep. It's not that big of a deal. But what's actually really interesting about the Solidaro is that, I mean, you can get a bunch of salted beef, which is nice. You can get really low army upkeep. The other consideration, though, is that the Solidaro exploits both food and industry, which can be pretty strong. The issue with the Argentinians is that the rest of their culture is not particularly good, but the Solidaro is quite nice. Ethiopians are interesting. The +10 science on garrison can be good if you have a lot of garrisons, but I don't think it's worth taking them for alone. And the Amba is, like, pretty bad. Like, great, you get a garrison / commons quarter, but there are garrisons from earlier eras that are significantly better than the Amba is. Persians are, like, always a good option. The shared project industry cost, the reduced constructibles industry cost, the caravanserai, all pretty good. The emblematic unit is a little bit more, like, mid-range, but still, like, a decent unit that's worth building. Austro-Hungarians, I don't need to worry about this game. The French could be a consideration, but I think probably going to avoid them in this game. I just played the Germans, so I'm going to pass on that. Hawaiians make more sense if you have a lot of coastal water in your cities, which I don't. I'm very land-centric at the moment, so we'll be passing on the Hawaiians. Italians are good for managing stability, especially if you have a lot of commons quarters. Teatro is very, very good at producing influence, so that is a consideration, and Alpini are very good units. Mexicans, I have no trouble with food, so I'll pass on them. The Russians are probably the worst culture in the game. They're really poorly designed, and you should never ever pick them. Scots, I don't think make any sense for me. I'm not behind on techs, really, at this point. So this effect doesn't have much impact on me. Highlanders are fine, but like nothing to write home about. College is all right as well, but I think there are just better options available. The Siamese are a very good option here. Both industry and money outputs quite strong. I think the issue I'll have with the Siamese is I have quite a few cities that I won't be able to build their emblematic district in, but like the cities that I can build them in, they would be very strong. So Zulu, last option, the extra health regeneration, combat and supplied units, warriors is into like nothing. These Zulu are someone that you pick when like you're playing defensively and perhaps don't have access to a lot of saltpeter. The Impy can kind of make up for that lack of access. So really, I think the best options, maybe the Persians. There's also, I think there is a case for the Italians just for the extra influence. And then the French, of course, getting science is crazy. I mean, I do feel like picking scientists in the late game is just kind of cheating. I could also play the Argentinians just because I've never played them on the channel before. I'm trying to think if there's like anyone else that makes sense. I would really like the extra influence to get the stars, but it doesn't seem super necessary. And unfortunately, the Austro-Hungarians aren't particularly good, having picked the Hittites, because the extra influence on emblematic districts kind of goes to waste from the early eras. It's really hard to not pick the Persians right now. Gonna be honest with you guys. Like, the Argentinians just don't do enough compared to the Persians. Like, the reduced shared projects, the reduced constructible industry cost, the caravanserai being industry and money, and the extra movement that you get, they just give you everything you need. So I'm going to pick the Persians this game. Alright, and then Memphis, we have nothing going on. Let's get the high furnace in there. Still need some stability as well. But we're kind of committed to the garrison stability strategy. This is where the Argentinians actually would have come in handy. And now I'm like rethinking my pick a little bit, because I think if there's a case for the Argentinians, like this game would be the case for it. So I might actually just reload my save here and pick the Argentinians, because it is like a case where I think it's a half decent pick, and most of the time I think they're not bad, they just don't stack up very well to some of the other cultures that are available. So let's just redo this turn really quickly. We're maintaining that unit there, moving everyone else forward. Probably should have saved before I did my culture pick, but that's okay. I was trying to just like do it in the middle of the episode, but that's what happens when I like don't save beforehand. Okay, then up here we were going to build the furnace and another garrison. You can build it right there. As far as tech, we get our freebie techs that we haven't researched yet. No wonders that we need. All right, and then we're going to pick the Argentinians. So this will be an interesting experience, but I do think the salted beef will actually be at least marginally useful this game, which is more than I can usually say about salted beef. So let's get those queued up. Maybe like, actually that area is kind of being reserved for my, what's it called? My research quarters. 4, 2, and 5. I think that makes sense. Okay. We get industrial production, so extra trader slots or farmer slots. Trader slots is the obvious one here. I really have no need for the farmer slots, and you very rarely will, really. So the gauchos are kind of interesting. They're an upgraded dragoon. They have this ability that gives them suppression on the first attack that they make in combat. Line formation may be the obvious first choice here. I'm just thinking about whether or not there's anything else that I would want immediately. Like the coal plant is good, the sawmill is good, but I'm thinking I'm going to go for line formation. Probably through carbine just to unlock my emblematic units. And we're going to keep moving forward with our existing armies here. Ew. Okay. Yeah, those spy units can get a little annoying. The main like impacts they seem to have is that they kind of get in the way of your army movement. I'm actually going to bring this guy back up into Ossuer, because we'll probably be going to war against Blue in the not so distant future. It also gives them like a diplomatic ultimatum. I think I want to keep building war support there, though. That's not bad there. Being on the river is good because that exploits food and industry. Go there. Go up there. Pretty expensive districts to build. There we go. Alright. The part of me that wants to start buying some of these out. I'm just going to take the recommendations. So one of the disadvantages of the Saladero is that they don't count as maker's quarters or agriculture quarters. So you're not going to get adjacency bonuses from your existing quarters, which is kind of a bummer. Maybe like right there, it's fine. Okay. Get Republic Evolution, so extra stability on territory or signing some money on commons quarters. I think, what is it? This one here, you have to make a choice of, what is it? Constitutional Monarchy, Democratic Republic, Republic Evolution, and that one is one-party state. Constructible. Neighborhood watch. I don't remember which one does what. I feel like one party state, though, gives me extra stability on garrisons. I think I'm going to put that off for now, though, because I want to generate that influence that I'm getting from the Liberty side of the tree from all my emblematic districts. Just too important to not have that going. Okay, let's position myself here. Feeling like blue might be a little bit of a steamroll, which is good for me, obviously. Let's do something like that. Okay. Can end the war with orange here. I'm wondering... I'm going to save this quick. So I'm wondering how much it would be to just vassalize them. Yeah, which I can do. And I'm already going to take a decent bit of their stuff. Let's do that. I'm good with vassalization here. I don't need to, like, take literally every territory in the game, right? Like, I just need to win, basically, right? And Tenochtitlan. Is it worth keeping the city? I don't think so. I'm actually just going to buy out Prowlers, because they're cheap. And then pillage a city. I don't think that's worth keeping. Alright. In the meantime, let's actually send these guys up this way. I think I could probably go for a victory this era, if I can just vassalize everyone that's left. Green will be the hardest by a pretty large margin. So maybe I go for blue first. Give it a turn to get my guys in position here. And I have forgotten about wonders. So the one that I will want is Statue of Liberty. So plus some money per number of territories and plus some science per number of territories in your sphere of influence is quite strong. And gets better the more territories there are in the game. So the larger the map it is. This is a smaller map as far as number of territories, but I still have a lot under my sphere of influence, so it'll be pretty good for me. I'm going to buy out that solid arrow. I will not need to worry about civility for the rest of the game, which is nice. Doesn't really matter where I build this. I'm going to build it close to my city center just because I think it looks nice. Thebes, we have irreligion. We don't want to take irreligion. We have the strongest religion in the game at this point. Buy one of those solid arrows, then work on Statue of Liberty. Do the same thing here. Queue up a few more of the solid arrows. Not sure if I'm actually like pronouncing that right. Obviously, it's I'm not a proficient Spanish speaker or anything of that nature, so. But that kind of goes for everything in the game, right? Like, only so many languages, you know. Okay, so I think I'm in a position. I'm going to refuse those demands. Yeah, so next turn, probably go for a war declaration. I suppose I can't upgrade those to gauchos. It might be like light cavalry that upgrades there. Oh, I can get the marble manufactory now. Let's grab that. And yeah, those are different things. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the tourney fields here. I'm just going to buy that. I'm going to grab the armory, because I'll be using this city to probably produce some mortars, is my plan. And that looks good. Okay, Axum. City worth keeping? Probably not. Much to absorb. Very expensive. Okay, you can work on Statue of Liberty while you get pillaged. Let's put that outpost down. And we're actually going to come back and pillage Axum. I should have done that earlier. I kind of forgot. Okay, and then here, let's start making those demands. And then I'm just going to surprise war blue. They're actually retreating some of their forces. I think I want them to be a little closer together, these two armies. They do have a lot of units here, which does pose some danger. I am significantly technologically superior, so I'm not super worried about this, and my units are very high combat strength. I will need to be aware of the Bogaturi, though. I'm going to move... no, that's fine. So I want to kill the Bogaturi first, to the extent I'm able. I actually don't have line of sight on anyone from up here, which feels weird. I feel like I should be able to shoot some of these guys because they're multiple levels above. Guess we'll move back there. Okay. No need to move into the city, I don't think. Just have them guard the path there. We'll take those units out. Okay, otherwise we're basically just idling. We're just trying to use our superior firepower to deal with that. Wow, those Bogaturi are stronger than I expected. 42 base combat strength. Ah, they have the stables. Oh, and they also have the, what is it, Warlord? God of War. That gives extra strength to emblematic units, so maybe slightly underestimated the Bogaturi here. Thankfully, I have very strong musketeers. Like, look at all these combat strength bonuses that I have. Disregard the -2, and obviously I just lost that unit, which is kind of a bummer, but they took how many units with them? But, like, look at this. This has 60, right? Meditate often, ideology, lust for war, professional soldiers, temple of Artemis, hotel, veterancy. Tons of positive effects there. And I'm just going to have some of these guys stay put. No, we'll take that attack. Too bad I lost that musket, though. Go for the +10 war support there. Got a militarist star. And then once we have line infantry, we'll probably be thinking about going after the British here. I'm going to make those demands as well. If there's anything else to actually find on this island. No? No, yeah, no luxuries or anything. That's kind of a bummer. Okay, nothing they can shoot. Alright, that's everything there. So La Venta, the main one to hit. Thinking about, like, whether or not it's actually worth taking up their cities, or if I should just try to go for a vassalization victory, basically. Actually, Resilient might be helpful. Health regen. I'm going to take that. Sure, we claim that territory again. And I think I can pillage this city. because I can attach it to another thing later. Interesting that I just got Osmosis for Steam Engine. I'm really surprised at how much tech this player has. Seems like their units aren't fully representative of where they actually are in the tech tree at the moment. Okay, I have one more turn on line infantry, so I think those 2 units would probably be enough to take Nineveh, and then the rest of these I'm just going to position here to move towards some of these other cities. Okay. Reduce the cost of units. I think I'm going to do that. I have another osmosis thing here. I've already got that one. Okay, then I'm actually just going to disband that unit. I don't need it. Okay, can get our coal now that we got the tech for free. And we have some coal right there. Oops, just going to buy that one. We have some coal right here, which I'll also buy since we're working on statue. Anything else? Doesn't seem like it. Okay, looking good. There's our agrarian star. There's our line infantry. So I'm going to upgrade these units first, since they are going to be actively engaged in combat up here. And I think an army full of line infantry should be more than sufficient to deal with whatever they'll throw at us. Start upgrading the halberdiers first, since they are less useful than the musketeers overall. Have enough gold for everything here regardless. Should get that outpost down. Okay. And then we'll go through the same process here with upgrading those units. It'll take a minute since I have a lot of units that require upgrades, but I have a decent gold income right now, especially considering I didn't manage to nab Taj Mahal earlier. So next question is tech. Thinking maybe mechanization. Don't think electricity is super good anymore. Microbiology would be nice. Just for the reduced population consumption and the stability, but I guess I don't really need the stability all that much. I really need city cap a little bit more. Though, thinking strategically about like how I'm trying to end the game, right? Probably trench warfare. Though I need the oil first. So let's grab oil first and then go into trench warfare, and I can start getting the artillery, which will be quite important for this later stage of warfare. You can idle, you can idle. Alright. Let's assault Laventa here. Statue of Zeus, stables, Great Mosque. Should be fine. Even though it says my side is weaker, just like last time. Don't know where the Bagaturi are. I'm actually going to back up here because they're on low ground relative to that unit there. See if I can find them. Don't see them. Over there. And can I hit from there? Okay, great. Alright. So I could like take Laventa and then maybe just vassalize them. My Echo Dot just went off for no particular reason. Start updating some of the halberdiers here. Okay. claim a new wonder if I wanted. I don't know if there's anything that's really left that's worth claiming. I suppose I could like grab Eiffel Tower, but +1 industry per population is really not that strong. Like, across your empire it's a lot, but like on each city it's just not very worth it. Like, global outputs like that are more worth it than individual city outputs, which is why I prioritize the Statue of Liberty. I guess maybe I could explain that thought a little bit more, but basically, like, so Statue of Liberty, you build it in one city, right? I think yeah, so I get +500 money from number of territories in my sphere of influence. That's coming from Statue of Liberty. It also applies to science, and that's a global output. So I can use that money anywhere, and the science is like collective going towards research, right? Whereas like Eiffel Tower, if I get 56 industry in Hattusa and 55 industry in Byblos and so on and so forth, like proportionally it doesn't have that big of an impact because industry is focused in just a single city, and my industry output is already fairly high, so it's not as impactful to get Statue of Liberty as it is to get something with more global outputs. So that's why I focus Statue of Liberty in the industrial versus any of the other ones. I suppose I should upgrade these halberdiers first. And I can do the muskets. Okay. Alright, so we're just chilling on La Venta for now, and actually we'll leave those units there. Going to give it another turn to pillage that city so we don't need to claim it. Corral, you can start working on the Solideros. Yeah, that's all fine. Okay, great. There's propeller, so we'll be looking to get oil next. Pillaged here. Let's reclaim that territory, and then we are going to force the surrender of the Swiss. So we do want La Venta. Where do they have their wonders? They have a statue of Zeus, they have Stable of Pyramses, and they have Great Mosque. So it's kind of these bottom territories here. I think the question is, can I take these and still have enough to vassalize? No. Okay. So I think I will probably just go for vassalization. It's not that big of a deal to not get those wonders. I'm not really concerned about the effects of those wonders. Okay. So that's our second vassal. And how are we doing on upgrades? Need some more. I have more units than I really realized I did. Curious how my salted beef is doing. Minus 1% army upkeep per salted beef is... doesn't really feel like it's having that much of an impact, really. Feels like the stability effects are more relevant. Suppose I haven't really gotten too many online yet. We'll go for Educate for the extra science. That is fairly expensive. The other options were not as appealing. So Inventor's Workshop will be relevant. Cabinet of Curiosities will be relevant. We're at 800-ish industry. A little bit more industry will be important there. Alright. Agrarian Builder, etc. Stars. Take a look at the stars in a second here. Just going to go over my units. Make sure the ones that are close to the front have been upgraded here. Oops. Okay. I'm actually going to pull these units down this way. Go for a multi-pronged attack on green. Make those demands. Do I have any? Okay, they're actually vassalized. So if I can vassalize the green player relatively quickly, I can also vassalize the brown player as part of that. So I think now is probably the time. So we are going to go for a war declaration. I'm hoping they don't have too many redcoats, because those are decent units. And then we're just going to try to take as many cities as we can here. I could actually assault Nineveh, no. Fine, we'll pull those units down that way. Make that attack. Okay. That kind of event. We'll get 4 supports. Down here, I'm just going to instant resolve that. And here we can begin our assault on this first city. So they just have the Sapa Inca Guard, which are not super threatening to... Actually, that Bastion's actually doing quite a bit of work for them. I suppose now that they have, they've adopted my religion, so they're stronger than they were before. Relatively speaking. Obviously, it just kind of cancels out with my religion, right? But they didn't have it in my previous conflict with them, so their units kind of appear relatively stronger. Unfortunately, I'm kind of crammed in here with all my direct fire units, so I'm limited on the number of shots that I can take. Thankfully, they have sacrificed most of their units here. I'm actually going to start moving some of these guys into the city where I can. And that'll open up shots for some more units. I can move them there. Doesn't matter. Alright, great. So there's Lapita. And let's start on Nineveh on this turn. There's Combustion Engine, Scientist Star, so we're working on Trench Warfare next, which will unlock the all-important Siege Artillery. I actually have double oil up in this territory. A bit unusual. I'm just going to refuse that. I don't want to deal with the process of changing all that stuff in policies. Thankfully, my influence is not particularly important at this point in the game. Like, all the best wonders in the game are before this era. The industrial era wonders and modern or contemporary era wonders are pretty disappointing, in my opinion. Definitely not necessary to get them in any of your games, really. Let's see. Let's get that money. And get the manufactory as well. I'm at 1,000 industry here, which is not bad by any stretch of the imagination. We'll add one more to the queue there. Keep moving these forward, and actually I should check treaties here. Don't have enough to get another treaty, that's fine. I don't know if I'll actually have enough war support to vassalize them. I feel like it's always possible. Let's make this assault here. Really curious what happened to their general kind of aggression that I saw earlier in the game. It feels like it kind of toned down as we've gotten later in the game. And I feel like maybe part of that is the AI doesn't know how to scale very efficiently. And what that means in terms of their ability to actually produce units is that because they have poor production, it reduces their capacity to kind of span them out, which is what they had been doing before. I know, or at least I feel like they get some like scaling benefits as the game goes on. Okay, this is interesting. Oh, there we go. We have some redcoats. We have a mortar. I think I'll still win this pretty handily. Definitely deploy in the city here. Though that spot is not bad at all. Oh, I have some options out here as well. I think maybe just that spot there. I have a good concave right here to hit a lot of units. Otherwise, we're just kind of keeping units in reserve. Okay. Oh man, 79 combat strength. Yeah, I don't have the dug-in condition. I forget where you get it. Is it line formation? Yeah, so I won't have dug-in until my next turn, but they start with it. I need to take out that mortar, because that can remove my dug-in status. Okay, that was a very unusual location for them to deploy their mortar. And when I say unusual, I mean it was really silly that they deployed their mortar there. Okay, I can't actually hit anyone from there, which is fine. I don't think I really want to push out. I think I just want to stay put. And I forgot about these guys down there. I could maybe use these guys to kind of flank some of their units. Alright, the assault continues. Oops, there we go. Ah, I thought I could get them in the city there, but I suppose not. I feel like there's too much else I can do here. I don't need to worry about their reinforcements or anything really. I'll just let them do their thing. And then this battle down here, just slightly more interesting. Yeah, so we're just going to be exchanging fire with these redcoats for a while because I'm doing like no damage to them basically. These other units down here are much more vulnerable, so I'm actually going to run out and take the flag here, because otherwise I'm just going to be shooting at that redcoat unit like all day long. These guys are a little bit more vulnerable, just because they're not in a fort. Anywhere else I can go? We'll just go adjacent. Would be nice to eliminate at least one of these units, since they are pretty difficult units to kill, as you're seeing here. Pretty high base combat strength. Okay. Over here, let's get in the city. Don't know where the last unit is, it's just an envoy. We'll just keep ending that round. Okay. And then over here. There's one red coat. That guy suddenly taking a lot more damage for some reason. Don't need to kill them though. Fine, just staying put. See how my war support looks. Yeah, they're getting drained pretty fast here. Alright. San Lorenzo is up next. This has been a little bit easier than I've anticipated, which is somewhat disappointing, not gonna lie. I was hoping that, based on the experience I've had up to this point, that this would have been a little bit more challenging than usual, but it hasn't really felt that way. I do kind of wonder, they have a lot more units there than I realized. I saw a group of 8 going out. What I want to do is try to block them from actually getting up onto the land, and I can shoot them while they're in transport ships. It's really weird that they kind of went out into the ocean like that. but the AI love to do shit like that. They shoot themselves in their own foot all the time. Okay. I think most of these units can just kind of hang out. How's the upkeep looking? Yeah. I'm not like really super convinced on the value of the Solidero. It feels like the main thing with the Argentinians is really just the stability that it provides with the salted beef. But like, there are so many other ways to get stability that also get you other things. I'm pretty just like that pack of cultures, I feel like was somewhat disappointing overall, which is kind of too bad. Okay. Everything else that I have going on looks good. I could establish another city. I actually think I'm going to do that. Let's evolve that one while I have the things to do it. I'm going to get a Solidero there. Let's attach this area here. Grab the Solidero there. And let's attach this territory here. And we'll get the Solidero there. 23 salted beefs is pretty good. And then we'll start working on some industry there. Okay. Back to this battle. Let's definitely take out that mortar. Let's take out these redcoats. Then let's grab the flag here. So they do have one redcoat left, but nothing they can do. And I think that'll force a surrender this next turn. And let's see if I actually have enough to vassalize them. Because if I do, I'm going to save this quick. If I do, I think I basically just win the game here. So let's force surrender. Vassalize. I still have some left. So just in case, I am going to... Yeah, I'll just grab that stuff there, I suppose. I'll force that surrender. Great. All right. And I should get the trigger on the next turn that one empire is close to victory, and then I should win the game on the turn after that. Just work on urban planning, I suppose. Artistic ownership, we don't need to worry about selecting anything there. You can just work on some siege artillery. You can do the same. Okay, end the turn. Yeah, so there was the notification, right? Yeah, so this is the last turn of the game. So this will be where I win. So it does feel like very sudden sometimes when you go for some of these domination victories, because your capacity to wage warfare increases really dramatically in later ages as your production and money outputs scale up. Really increases the amount of armies you can have on the map and how effective your armies are if you've made the right choices. So we'll get the end screen once I click the game here, or end turn here. So I'm just kind of taking a look around at like the relative strengths and weaknesses that some of these guys had. It does feel like they all struggle to keep up a bit. I do think part of that may have been map type, right? Like part of the point of setting up the map like this was to put everyone in close proximity to make the early game harder. And I do think it was somewhat successful in doing that, partly because of the map generation, partly because of my culture pick, but also because I was pretty boxed in and the AI did have some advantages over me in that respect. But they kind of failed to scale up, and part of that is just due to the nature of the map, and them being in constant conflict with each other meant they didn't build very effectively. So I don't know, maybe they would have more success on a larger map or something, but I did try that recently, right, with the expert AI run, and they didn't feel like particularly strong in that one either. I don't know. Maybe I've just gotten too good at the game. I'm going to take a look at the next player here. So the orange player was like my primary threat for much of the game, so I'm curious how they played out in terms of era score. Wow, Argentinians got nothing with militarist. Interesting. Militarist, expansionist. Yeah, they had a decent classical era, not the strongest, but still pretty decent. The medieval era is kind of when I was fighting them the most, so I feel like they dedicated a lot of production to their units, and then they picked the Caribbean pirates for like absolutely no reason whatsoever. I know like a lot of their picks are based on their personalities, but I do think there should be a little bit more weight given to their current situation. So yeah, I was ahead on fame for a lot of the game there. Let's take a look at food. Yeah, you can tell where I built Machu Picchu. Industry, like, really outscaled them, right? Like, back here, much more competitive, but again, as usual, the AI just can't keep up in terms of scaling because they build their cities really poorly and they don't really build infrastructure is one of their big problems, but they also don't care about like adjacency effects. They have a hodgepodge of districts in their cities all the time. Let's take a look at pop. Yeah, I was way ahead on pop. Religion was interesting because I was like struggling until I took the what are they called? The Mughals, and then I really skyrocketed on religion. Pretty unusual for me to struggle in that respect. Research, interestingly, I was behind, and a pretty significant gap actually right here between me and some of the leading players for the classical and medieval eras. Obviously, I caught up quite effectively by the end of the game, but this, you can see my lack of science investment throughout the game for the first 120 to 150 turns, which is pretty unusual for me. Military, yeah, I mean, I can't believe they had that much military. The blue player? Huh. I kind of wonder what happened there, because I don't feel like I encountered much of it. And then cities looks fine. Yeah, what kind of an interesting game. I think I need to evaluate a little bit, like, what combination of like AI personalities and traits will present the most interesting game. I think part of that is continuing to do chaotic map generation going forward. I think it presents a more like compelling gameplay experience. It's a lot more, requires you to adapt a lot more to the terrain that you're in, whereas like the regular generation is very, very predictable. So I think I will carry that forward in future games. But otherwise, I need to do a little bit of thinking around like what else could potentially present some level of challenge for humankind. I felt like this was pretty good for like the first few eras, and then the AI just fell flat like they tend to do later in the game. So, well, I think that's it for me for this one. So really appreciate you being here and sticking this out with me. And I'll see you soon in the next video, whatever that one is. It's TBD. If you have any suggestions, I'd be happy to hear them. But otherwise, well, just wait it out and we'll see what happens. So see you later.